Good evening, family. Tonight is the second lesson in a series we're calling Relational Generosity. Tonight we're going to be talking about what it means to give grace. You know, when I was a kid, I had this friend, and my friend had a really weird uncle. I mean, this guy was creepy. He was weird. He was scary. And he did, the crazy things that uncles do in crazy times. And honestly, we avoided him like the plague. And then soon after that, I realized that another one of my friends also had this really weird uncle. I mean, I know, right? I mean, two. What are the odds? But very soon, the older I got, I realized that even my own uncle was weird. And I was beginning to wonder if there just wasn't something about uncles that just automatically made them weird. But the longer I lived, the more I realized that as people, we are all of us, on the crazy scale. Some people are quite strange, and some people only a little slightly strange, but we're all on the crazy scale at some point. And I think that's true also of our mistakes. The mistakes that we make in life. Some of us make mistakes that are little, that are light. Some of us make mistakes that are big. And the reality is, though, that all of us are on the scale. And what that means is we all need grace. We all need grace and forgiveness from God. We all need grace and forgiveness from each other. And the great thing is that because God is love, He has lots of grace to go around. Since God has grace on us, we also should have grace for one another. And as we grow as people and see our own need for grace, it should be easy for us to see and to give grace to others. We especially need grace in our relationships. In my own family, I pray for relationships all the time. Dana and I have 6 kids between us. That correlates to 5, well, we'll go ahead and just say 6 sons-in-laws and daughters-in-law. That's 12 people right there. Now, those in-laws each have parents, 16 to be exact. Don't even try to do the math. I'll explain later. But if you add that 16 to those 12, that's 28 people, okay? Now add in the 7, soon to be 9 grandkids. We're talking about 37 people, 39 if you count Dana and I, that we have to interact with. Now, when several people with different personalities in different locations need to coexist, it's imperative to have grace. But how do you do that? I mean, the more relationships we have, the more opportunities there are for us to be offended, for us to be hurt, for us to be wronged. So how do we extend grace in those relationships? Well, one thing we can do is simply to assume the best intentions of other people. We tend to judge ourselves based on our good intentions, but we judge others based on their actions. However, we should try to assume other people's best intentions. In other words, when we get hurt, and we're going to, when we get offended, and we're going to, when we get mistreated, and we're going to, we can't immediately assume that the other person intended or was trying to hurt us. Instead, we need to think of that person in the situation that they're in, within the context that they love us. And I got to ask myself, would they deliberately and intentionally try to hurt me? It's like the 5-word sentence, okay? I didn't kick my brother. 5 words. But those 5 words can mean all sorts of things. If I put the emphasis on the I, it's I didn't kick my brother. No, I watched somebody else kick my brother. You see? If I put the emphasis on the second word, didn't, it's I didn't kick my brother. I pinched him. I pulled his hair. I punched him in the arm, but I didn't kick him. Or if I change it to kick, I didn't kick my brother. No, I beat him up. But none of that was by kicking him. Another way, I didn't kick my brother. I kicked my friend's brother. Or even brother. I didn't kick my brother. I kicked my sister. That simple sentence, I didn't kick my brother, can mean a variety of things. It is so easy then to miscommunicate our intentions and our feelings. And it's equally easy to assume bad things about how others have treated us. But often it's just not true. Assume the best of others. Assume the best of their intentions. The second thing we can do is to just simply treat others how we want to be treated. We all remember Jesus' golden rule, don't we? Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. He says, so in everything, doesn't leave anything out, in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets. You know, when we're in relationship with other people, we need to try and do as Jesus said. He said to treat others like we want to be treated. He didn't say to treat others as they have treated us, which that's the worldly way. If you wrong me, I'm going to wrong you. If you treat me bad, I'm going to treat you bad. If you treat me ugly, I'm going to treat you ugly. That's not the golden rule. Jesus says treat them the way you want to be treated, even if they treat us badly. Even if it was on purpose, we should still treat them the way we want to be treated ourselves. And that takes grace. That takes a whole lot of grace. As we see ourselves in need of grace because of our mistakes, because of our sin, that really ought to give us lots of room in our hearts for others' mistakes. You know, the wisest man that ever lived, Solomon, said this in Proverbs chapter 19, verse 11. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. Let's pray to God for grace for our mistakes. And let's love other people the way we want to be loved. I really believe it's true that whatever a person sows, that's what they're going to reap. So give grace. Sow grace. And it can come back around to us. Tonight you're going to be looking at 3 different episodes of what I'll call relational grace. One in 1 Samuel chapter 19. This one is between Jonathan and David, 2 good friends. There's another you're going to look at in John chapter 8 between Jesus and a woman who was caught in a sexual sin. And the last one, the third one, is an interaction between Jesus and a woman he met at a well in Samaria. That's recorded in John chapter 4. Hopefully, you'll be able to see in these accounts not only the amazing grace of God, but how that grace translates into the extension of grace relationally to others. Enjoy your study tonight, and God bless.